Ghostdomain's Blackmage is one of those tracks that just hits you like a physical force. It's pure, unfiltered rage. But what if I told you that underneath all that aggression, there's a fascinating and honestly a devastating internal war going on? Well, today we're going to unpack the psychological battle that's raging inside one of trap metal's most intense anthems. Right out of the gate, this song just explodes with this line. There's no buildup, no warning. It's a raw, violent declaration of independence. The tone is set immediately. This is a rebellion. And that question? That's the whole key to this song. You see, this isn't just about being angry at the world. It's about being fundamentally torn in two. It's about a brutal clash between two completely opposite desires, both fighting for control of one person's soul. Okay, so to really understand this conflict, we've got to get to know the two combatants. So let's start with the first persona we meet in the verses, the powerful, the aggressive, the totally defiant Blackmage. This line tells you everything you need to know about the first layer of the Blackmage. This is the ultimate social rebel, and we're not talking about simple teenage angst here. This is a complete and total rejection of society's entire rulebook. So this isn't just random chaos. It's actually a fight against something sociologists call anomie, that feeling of being disconnected and aimless in a society with no clear rules. And philosophically, it's like he's living out that famous idea from Rousseau, that we're all born free, but society slaps chains on us. The Blackmage is trying to break those chains with pure force. And just like that, the rebellion levels up. It moves from the social world to the spiritual one. The Blackmage isn't just breaking society's rules anymore. He's literally creating his own reality using the tools of the occult. Now, what's so cool here is how specific he gets. Iwas isn't some generic demon he pulled out of a hat. This is the actual entity that supposedly delivered the central text of Thelema to the occultist Aleister Crowley. And the core motto of Thelema? Do what thou wilt. It's the ultimate philosophy of self-determination. He's using forbidden knowledge to carve out his own existence. All right, so we've got the social rebel and the occult practitioner. The final layer of this persona is where it all comes together, connecting ancient psychology with modern digital culture. He's not just a rebel or a mage. He is a shadow made real. And this is just brilliant because it's pulling from two completely different worlds. First, the name itself, Blackmage, is a direct nod to the powerful, destructive spellcaster from the Final Fantasy games. It's a constructed digital identity. But second, in psychology, this is a perfect example of what Carl Jung called the shadow, all the dark, repressed impulses that we try to hide from ourselves. But here's the thing, he's not hiding it. He's embracing it. He's becoming it. So we've just built up this absolute monument to power, aggression, and self-creation, and then the chorus hits. And the entire thing just shatters. The Blackmage completely vanishes, and he's replaced by a voice of pure, raw desperation. Wow, all that confidence, all that power, just gone. This is the other combatant, the monk, and his entire being is defined by this crushing existential dread. He genuinely feels like he's an error, a glitch in a universe that has no purpose and no divine plan. This is pure textbook existentialism. You know, when the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said, "We are condemned to be free," he was talking about this exact feeling. The Blackmage tries to use that freedom to create his own meaning, but the weight of it all is so heavy, so crushing, that it leads to this deep self-hatred, this belief that he isn't a creator, but a mistake. So what do you do with that kind of unbearable anguish? What's the escape hatch? Well, it's not more power or more rebellion. It's the absolute opposite, a complete and total retreat from the world. What's really fascinating here is the clash of traditions. I mean, neuroscience actually tells us that meditation literally quiets down the part of your brain responsible for all those self-critical thoughts. But look at the switch. The Blackmage uses active Western occultism to gain power and build a self. The monk desires passive Eastern contemplation to completely lose the self. So there you have it, our two combatants, the all-powerful Blackmage who wants to be a god, and the self-annihilating monk who wants to be nothing. So what happens when these two impossible desires are forced to live inside the same mind? When you lay it out side by side like this, you can see just how impossible the situation is. The Blackmage wants to create a self through absolute power. The monk wants to destroy the self to find absolute peace. It's active rebellion versus passive surrender. There's no middle ground here. They are fundamentally at war. There's actually a clinical term for this exact state. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's the incredible psychological stress you feel when you hold two completely contradictory beliefs at the exact same time. This song isn't just about that feeling, it's a perfect artistic expression of it. The narrator literally feels like a living contradiction, a mistake. But this conflict goes way beyond just one person's internal struggle. The war that's raging inside this song is actually a reflection of a huge philosophical debate that has been going on for centuries. See, the Blackmage is basically Nietzsche's will to power brought to life, that primal drive to forge your own meaning and values in a world without God. But the monk? The monk is pure Schopenhauer, who argued that the only way to escape suffering is to renounce all desire and silence that very will. This song becomes a modern-day battlefield for these two titanic ideas. And so, in the end, the song leaves us with this incredibly powerful and completely unanswered question. Can these two halves ever become whole? Is there any way to reconcile the drive for ultimate power with the longing for absolute peace? The song doesn't give us an answer. It just leaves us there, staring into the abyss of that conflict, and forces us to confront the question for ourselves.